Okay guys, we're back with another video. Sorry for the few days off, but we're gonna get right back into this one because this is an issue I'm seeing across amateur baseball more than ever, way more than ever. And I title it Truth and Delusion because so many players are just making excuses after excuses after excuses. So if you wanted to talk about what's the number one issue in amateur baseball, it's excuses. Now, some of you may be listening and thinking like, hey Kyle, like what's the big deal with a kid making excuses, stuff like that? Well, if you're making excuses, what that means is that it actually wasn't your fault. When you say something like, oh, I didn't think it was gonna bounce like that, when you make an error on a ground ball, that's inherently putting the blame on the bounce instead of yourself. You didn't read the ground ball properly. You didn't receive it properly. Instead, you're saying, I didn't think it was gonna bounce like that. Right? And that seems harmless, but the issue is when you constantly make excuses for everything, every mistake that you make, ultimately, you're fooling yourself into where you need to improve and where you don't need to improve, right? Because if it's not your fault, your brain is not telling you, hey, we need to get better there. The correct response is, yeah, it's my bad, man. I messed it up. I misread the hop. I didn't come get it. I didn't take a step back and try to play it into a long hop. I played it into an in-between hop. That's my bad. Not going to happen again. That's all you have to say. But I literally with the most insignificant plays, teams up 10-0, error isn't going to kill us. Kid makes an error and excuse. Man, I didn't see it well off the bat. Everyone else on the field has to see it off the bat too, right? Just say you messed up, and now you know what you need to work on, right? So the issue with excuses is they fool you about what you need to improve. And again, so here's the other issue with when everything is, you make an excuse and you're blaming someone else or something else when you make a mistake. The problem is, because you make a mistake, deep down you know that was your fault, right? But when you're telling all your teammates and everybody that, hey, man, that was a bad hop, I can't believe it, or man, I just can't see the spin. Spin's not. I couldn't pick up the pitch very well. That's why I swung in a 3-1 count at a pitch above my head. That's why I did it. It wasn't because I wasn't focused, wasn't in my approach, and again, wasn't locked in. It's because, oh man, that pitcher just kind of did something weird and I couldn't see the pitch well, right? It's like every little thing is an excuse. And when you've made an excuse, you're less likely to actually work on that, because if you're seen working on the stuff that you're making these errors on and the bad pitches you're swinging at, all of a sudden people are going to know like, oh no, that actually was your fault. So like as a person, you're disincentivizing yourself to actually work on the things that you need to. And again, when you admit that you messed up, right, it's very easy. You just, first of all, guys, if you're a high school player out there, when you make an excuse, everyone on the team knows you're making an excuse. Like no one is buying the, oh man, I lost it off the bat. It went in the lights, and they're like, wait, it was like a fly ball like 200 feet in the air. There's no way it was in the lights that long. Or again, man, it took a crazy hop, and it's like, dude, if you took one step forward, it's like a short hop. You took one step back, it's a long hop, but you just sat on your heels and it ate you alive because you didn't move. You made the mistake. You misread the ground ball, right? So when you make that excuse and you walk into the dugout, everyone on the team loses respect for you. Every single one. You want your teammates' respect? You want your friends' respect? Walk in and say, hey, my bad, guys. I messed up. Not going to do that again. I misread the ground ball. My footwork was bad. Instead, you guys make these excuses, and everyone in the dugout's like, oh, yeah, tough hop. Yeah, tough hop. And you guys have heard me say this. Like, major league infielders, the best defenders in the infield never get bad hops, right? Because bad hops are a product of your footwork and your read of the ground ball, putting yourself in a bad position to get that in-between hop, right? An in-between hop is kind of like, it's not a short hop and it's not a long hop. It's that one where, man, we really got to have good glove work to catch it. And a major league caliber infielder just never puts themselves in that situation, right? I'm not talking about, because here's the issue, like when we think of, oh, it took a bad hop, it's like, oh, it hit the lip of the infield, or it hit like a random rock in the infield and bounced the other way. Like that's totally different. That's like 1% of bad hops in amateur baseball. 99% of amateur bad hops in amateur baseball are the kid didn't move, he played it into an in-between hop. Gosh, man, that was a crazy hop. It's like, no, it wasn't. You played it into a crazy hop. That's on you, right? But the excuse is, man, took a bad hop. And being involved coaching at, in the amateur level right now, that's what you see everywhere. Every team, to the best players, to the worst players, it's, I'm just going to make an excuse. No one's going to call me out on it, right? And that's my job as someone who's played at the highest level, who's played at, coached at the college level, is to call it out when an excuse is made. So if I hear a player make an excuse, I say, no, it's not. That's not what happened. You made a bad play. You played it into a bad hop. You swung at a bad pitch. I had a player walk in after taking a, borderline bottom of the zone, probably going to be called a strike pitch, and walking back into the dugout saying, gosh, that's so bad, it's not even close. And I just said, that's a strike. And he said, Coach, it's way low. You're telling me that you know more about the strike zone than me, and you think it was way out of the zone. It was at your knees, probably split the plate. They're going to call it a strike. But like, it makes you feel better to like walk back to the dugout and say it's not even close, even though every player in the dugout's like, that was a pretty good pitch, right? So it's like we're searching for excuses everywhere instead of taking responsibility for our own failures, right? And that's literally, if you want to be one of the best, you want to be someone who develops, you got to take responsibility when you fail. You got to take responsibility when you fail in anything, if you want to grow. If you're never going to take responsibility for things that you're not doing well, mistakes that you're making, you're never going to improve, because it's not you that's failing, right? You think, oh, I'm actually a good infielder, that's just a bad hop. No, you're a bad infielder and you played it into a bad hop. That's the difference, right? When you set your mindset to like, I'm just going to tell the truth, you know exactly where you're at as a player. When you're in this mindset of delusion, like a lot of amateur players, they think they're way better than they are. They never make mistakes. It's always someone else's fault. Like, you have no idea where you're at as a player. Like, when you're in delusion, you have no idea where you're at. And what I mean by that is you literally have no idea where you need to improve and when you don't. Remember, when you're constantly telling yourself, I'm a good infielder, that was just a tough hop, like, there's no stimulus inside your head to be like, well, I need to get better, right? Maybe deep down there, where the part of your brain that knows, like, yeah, I'm actually not that good. But again, like, you'd rather project to the world that like it wasn't your fault, you're actually a pretty good infielder, than, all right, I need to work on that. Right, hey, that's my bad. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get better at that, guys. Right, so operate in this, man. Operate in this. Be truthful to yourself. When you make a mistake, admit it. Your teammates will respect you. Doesn't matter the situation. Your teammates will actually respect you and appreciate you as a teammate. Coaches will love to coach you. Again, like the players, like, I'm going to bring, like, Justin Henry Malloy, who played at Vanderbilt, transferred Georgia Tech. I got the privilege of coaching him for a year before he got drafted, and now he made it to the big leagues in like a year and a half. Every single day, not only was he the first guy to the field, hey, Rennie, can you hit me some ground balls? Every single day. I'm like, yes, sir, let's go. And when he made a mistake, he would own it. And when I would call him out on stuff, he would own it, right? He wanted to improve. He wanted to be coached. He wanted to be told the things that he was messing up on, the things he was good at, and how he could improve. And he got to the big leagues in like a year and a half after he was drafted. And he didn't even play at Vanderbilt. He was like on the bench, didn't play, gets to Georgia Tech. He's like basically an All-American, and then boom, playing in the big leagues right now. So if you want to be like Justin Henry Malloy, accept the truth, accept the coaching, turn yourself into the best player you can.